Hi, mining community. Welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep, the Mining Podcast. And today's guest is Brian McEwen, who's the VP of Exploration and Development for Golden Arrow, who are a Vancouver-based explorer with a history of success in identifying, acquiring, and advancing precious base metal discoveries in Argentina. They're also a member of the Grosso Group, who are a resource-focused management group that pioneered the mineral exploration industry in Argentina. And has operated in the country since 1993. Brian has over 30 years of experience in exploration and production in open pit and underground mining projects, and has worked on operations throughout the world, including Latin America. And he's here today to tell us a little bit more about Golden Arrow. So let's welcome Brian to the podcast. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing well, Rob. Thanks for having me.
No, and I appreciate your time as well. So, as we always start these podcasts off, can you give our audience, tell us a little bit about your background, your career? As I mentioned, that you've worked all over the world, and obviously got an extensive career. So I just wondered if you can give us an overview so our audience knows a little bit about you.
Well, sure. I mean, you did give a pretty good description. Yeah, I'm a geologist. I've been working in the industry, oh boy, about 40 years now, a long time. But I've seen a lot. I worked in production. I worked in mines. Then I went and worked for an engineering company, MRDI, which is now AMEC, which is now Wood, I think now. We did evaluations, and I was very fortunate to visit most of the world and be involved in a lot of the big name projects. And I realized that I was making money for the other people. So I thought I'd go sit on the other side of the table and go on to the junior mining sector. And I've been working here now for, I don't know, 16 years or something like that since I left consulting, and a good portion of the last 12 years, very happy years working with Joe Grosso and the Grosso Group, working with Golden Arrow Resources.
Yeah. So I just wondered if you can tell us a little bit about Golden Arrow Resources. And obviously also you can just tell us about the management of the company as well.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure to talk about the management and the group at Golden Arrow. I mean, that's part and parcel of the reason I've been there for 12 years. It's a great group. Joe is a great leader. He's the chairman, the CEO and president of the company. And as you mentioned, a lot of years experience working in Argentina. And, as well as Joe, we have a very strong technical team, not only here in Vancouver, but also in Argentina, probably one of the best I've ever worked with. And we've got all that experience, and it's, looking at the junior mining space, you want to, feel comfortable that the people that are working there have the ability and the wherewithal to do it. So it's a great group of people. I'm happy to be working here, and things look really good.
Your newly acquired flagship property, San Petro, looks exciting. You seem to have the right neighbours in the right country. That obviously you're very familiar with, and also the right district. So I just wonder if you can sort of just elaborate on those points.
We keep talking about all of our success in Argentina, and we had 4 discoveries there. And with the last project that we had, Chinchillas, we monetized that through our deal with SSR Mining. We sold our partnership and took that money and went looking for other projects, advanced projects. What we were looking for, we looked at several things, and then we came across this project in Chile, and it was up for auction, and it was in an area that we'd done a lot of work already. It's in Copiapó, which is probably one of the best places in the world to be looking for copper projects, copper iron projects, because of that part of the world. And we bid on that project. We were successful in the bid, and we acquired this San Pietro copper gold iron oxide project. And it is extremely well located. As I mentioned, it's in Copiapó, and we're sandwiched right between Manto Verde, which is an operating mine right now, of 500 million tons of resources, reserves actually for them. And then on the east side of us, bordering on the property, we have the Santo Domingo project, which is a mine that's all been approved and is earmarked for production by Capstone. And Capstone owns both of those projects, and we have all the property in the middle. And there's properties north and south, Candelaria, and several other operating mines in the area. So as far as an area goes, you look for mines where other mines are, and we've got that, and we've got 18,000 hectares of property. But that's a lot, 185 square kilometers. I should probably convert that to miles for you guys in the UK.
This podcast goes around the world, so
we'll leave it at that. Anyway, it's big, and I was really impressed, and I went to the property and I actually drove around, and it was like, it's big, 185 square kilometers, and it's a really good location, and that really matters in looking for these projects, and we're very happy there.
When will the drill program commence, and how extensive will it be?
We I was on the property a couple of weeks ago. We had our whole team down there. We were going through all of the different areas. I was just so blown away by the vastness and how big the project was. And when we went around the property, you could see that we had these individual targets. I'd always kind of envisioned this project of developing one big mine in the middle. And when I went there, I thought, whoa, this could very easily be 5 or 6, maybe smaller mines, or with a mine in the middle. And so each one of these areas, each one of these targets could be a target on its own. The area had been previously drilled by the previous owner, Sumitomo, and they left a lot of very, very good information. They didn't quite drill off enough to calculate a resource. So there's I think a pretty easy resource there to calculate if we wanted to just get in there and do that. But stepping back and looking at the project as a whole, we want to make sure that we get this right. So we want to have a better idea for the whole project area. We want to do some geophysics and some other things. Very, very pleasantly surprised when we applied for our drilling permits. We were told it was going to take 6 months, maybe a year, and we got them almost immediately. So we've already got the drill permits. We got the money for the drill program, but we want to make sure we do the proper work ahead of time. So we're looking at drilling first quarter of next year, getting the program there. Our initial permit is for 35 platforms. So we could drill 2 or 3 holes from the same platform. The actual drilling program will probably be, 5 to 10,000 meters. The plan for the whole property that we have is right now is a 40,000 meter program. That's what I've submitted to the board, to drill the whole property, calculate the resource, get it to the next phase for a pre-feasibility, or not a pre-feasibility, I'm sorry, a 43-101 resource. So we got the drilling program kind of all laid out, but our next phase of drilling, our first phase of drilling, will start in the beginning of next year.
And what's the company's financial position at the moment?
The financial we're very strong. As I say, we bid on this project. It was $3.5 million or $3.35 million. We paid cash for it. We own that property outright. So we have no other vendor payments or any kind of things to pay. It's 100% ours to evaluate on our own time. And we still have, I believe it's $9 or $10 million in the bank. And a good portion of those funds are actually in SSR Mining shares, which when we calculated the 10 million, SSR was trading very low, and already their shares have come up about $2.50. So we've got more than that. We're leveraged to whatever the value of those shares. So we're sitting well for the money that we've got planned, for the project we have planned. Sorry, and we're in good shape before we need to go back to the market.
Yeah. What challenges do you envisage possibly coming up with the drill program?
The first. Well, we've already gotten through the first couple of challenges. Just as we bought the property, there was all this big plans or talk or noise, I don't know what you want to call it, but about the Chileans were going to change their mining law and they're going to nationalize the mines. And oh wow, that was and they had all these different things in the referendum and the constitution. And anyways, that none of that passed. So that was the first hurdle, getting all of that political stuff out of the way. So it's clear sailing for us and all the other companies that are looking at mining or developing anything in Chile. The next hurdle was getting the drill permits. We got that, and now the challenge is everybody's anxious for us to to get in there and drill. Is to get this pre-work done. It's so important that we understand why we're drilling holes in certain locations and where these other targets could be. So we, it's from our point of view right now, we're in a very good shape because we have to do this pre-work. The market is not really paying attention at this moment. Prices are down. One of the big components of our project actually is cobalt, and cobalt prices have come off. We know they're going to come back with all of this, interest in electrical vehicles and things like that. Same as iron's down, copper's down. So it's a good time to be doing all this work, so that come January, when hopefully the market turns around, you're outputting this good results and things. But I don't see real big challenges at this point. We've managed to get through them, and challenge, I guess, will be to get our share price up and get everything done in a timely fashion.
How does exploration in Latin America, obviously Argentina and obviously now Chile, how does that differ from some of the other countries that you've worked in? And obviously you've worked in a lot of countries around the world. What's, I suppose, unique about Latin America in terms of exploration?
Well, there's a couple of things actually I think that are worth pointing out. Is one of them has to just do with the infrastructure, and that could be anywhere. But where we're drilling in Copiapó, we're on a paved road. Everything drives right there. When you're working at the top of the Andes or the North Pole, where you have to fly in all your drill rigs and your people, and a part goes down, it gets very expensive. I mean, it's not unusual to be paying $1,000 or $1,100 a meter for some of those all-in drilling costs in some of those places. And when we're in Chile, we're drilling close to $150, $200 a meter for all-in costs, and you can do it very timely. You get it to the assay labs, so that's very important. And in a lot of these other, well, I'd say specifically to Latin America, you've got a lot of changes in governments and things can be really good one day and not so good another day. If you look at some of our neighbors right now, it's you just never know. And in working in Chile, of the Latin American countries, I mean, we just got through this probably biggest challenge, I think, since the 20 or 25 years I've been working in Chile, was to get through this. And we got through that. It was easy, and you can get it done, and people are very majority of the people there, at least in areas like Copiapó, are very pro mining. And so a lot of this stuff that you have to go through in some of these other countries in Latin America, you don't go through here.
What would our listeners follow Golden Arrow, and obviously the project that you're working on?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
So yeah, why would our listeners follow Golden Arrow? Obviously the company plus the project that you're working on.
Why would they?
Yeah, what's unique about your company and the project?
You mean why should they?
Why should they? Yes.
I'm just kidding. Well, I think you when you look at a project or a company in the junior space or whatever, I think you got to look at are you just rolling your dice? Are you looking for a high hit in a drill hole, or what are you gonna? I mean, what is it you're investing in? And I think the biggest thing you're investing in is the people. And if you've got good people that have you can point to half a dozen projects you've already had, like myself personally and Joe and the rest of the team have discovered and taken to production and put into production and even ran the mines. So you've got all of that experience. You've got all of the legal experience. The people have done the job, and then you got to look at geopolitically, where are they working? I mean, are they working? Are they going to be able to get the job done, or the license going to be pulled? Is there some environmental thing or a spotted turtle that's going to stop the project? You need to know all of those things, and then you want to include access. Is this going to cost a fortune? And I think lastly, you want to look at if I invest into this junior company, are they going to immediately do a big financing and dilute us? And, our company's got that all covered. We've got the experience, we've got the money, and we've got the projects. And it's, that big drill hole may come in our drill program, but we're going about this very methodically. And I think, I believe that, you're not taking that big a chance on Golden Arrow by investing now and with what we've got ahead of us. It's, we keep talking about San Pietro, but we've got, a lot of other projects that we've joint ventured with other companies that are drilling right now that could be hitting a hole, like the project Magote, which is the border with Filo del Sol, which is probably I heard it described a couple of weeks ago on a podcast that, this is a generational type deposit that's been, I think it was Rick Rule was saying it's a one in a decade type deposit being found. And, we got the property right next to it. And we've got other properties like that in the high Andes. And we've got, other projects in Argentina that we're looking for. So there's, going back to the company itself. So we've got this slow moving, well, I don't know how slow, but this thing that's moving ahead with San Pietro. And don't forget, we've got neighbors on both sides that are very interested in our project, and other people that are very interested in our project as we go forward. And we still have all these other opportunities through joint ventures and projects in the other areas.
Yeah, I wonder if you can highlight some of the other projects that you're working on.
Well, I think that the main things are the ones that we've joint ventured, like I said, with Syndicate Minerals in they've changed their name now, but in with next Magote, and we're working with Libero Copper on a project next to Esperanza, their Esperanza project, and we've got another project with joint venture with Hanak on our project called Caballos. It's a big copper project. Any one of those projects, if they hit a drill hole, will go crazy. But we're also working on a bunch of projects in the San Juan area right now. We've got our Yanso project. We signed some CAs on some other properties in there that we're looking at right now. So we're firing on all cylinders, and there's lots of things in the hopper right now for sure.
Yeah, and lastly, just wonder if you can give us a quick overview of what's happening over the next sort of 6 to 9 months. I suppose focusing mainly on the San Pietro project, and maybe any other news on some of the other projects over the sort of next 6 to 9 months.
Okay, well, the joint venture projects I mentioned are all they're in the high Andes, which is really significant because we're just coming into their spring and summer, so they're about to start work there. I mean, they've been shut down because of the winter, and now they're going to be doing the work in there. So we could have news come out of any of the joint venture projects as well as our other properties that are coming. But our main focus as a company is definitely right now is advancing San Pietro, and we're working to get the holes relogged, and we've just recently hired a geophysicist to look at some of the deeper targets that I didn't mention it, but Sumitomo did an awful lot of work on the property. They drilled like 34,000 meters of drilling, and they have done a lot of geophysics, and because they were doing that back in 2008, 2010, I mean, a lot of the technologies changed, the targets changed, metal prices have changed, so things that might have been not so economical or worthwhile chasing now are in fact very, very much so now. So we want to go back and make sure that we understand those targets. So we're going to push ahead with the surface work and the logging and the geophysics, and like I say, we're going to be drilling early next year. Yeah,
so plenty of work ahead.
Yeah, there is. Like I say, for us, it's really a good time. We're hunkered down, and we're working hard right now to get this going.
Yeah, Brian, really appreciate your time in give us an overview of Golden Arrow. If our audience wants to reach out to you, if they've got any questions they want to ask, how can they go about doing that? Do you have any social media platforms as well?
Yeah, that's a really good point. The best is through our webpage, and you can get in contact with Sean Perger. He looks after all of our investor relations, and he's a really good guy. He doesn't leave any stone unturned. If you call or anybody else calls, he'll make sure I get in touch and I respond. So that's really the best way. And I'm always happy to talk to anybody about this, because it's it's exciting times.
Yeah, no worries. We'll include all of those in the show notes accompanying this anyway. So I'll put Sean's details in there for our audience wants to reach out to you if they have any questions. So really appreciate your time. Good luck with the drilling program. Maybe you want to come on next year once obviously you've gone through and done the drilling program on this particular project and maybe some other projects. Perhaps you want to come on next year and give us an update.
Oh, Rob, it's a pleasure talking to you, and I'm happy to come on anytime.
Yeah, no worries. Well, good luck with everything. For those that are listening, appreciate your continued support. Please share this episode amongst other mining professionals in the industry so they can get to understand a little bit of what Brian has spoken about and the content around Golden Arrow, obviously mining in Argentina as well as Chile. So appreciate your continued support. And until next time, happy mining.